Today I'll be continuing with my schedule discussion and point spread prediction videos. Today I'll be doing Purdue. It's no secret that Purdue is one of the best academic schools in the country and one of the worst football programs in the country. And it's been that way uh, for as long as they've been in existence, I think. They more years than not have a terrible football team. They never have a great football team. They did have a few better years in 2021 and 22, where they won 9 games and 8 games. But then after that, they lost their coach and went back to normal, having a 4-8 season. Uh, Being one of the 10 worst teams in the Power Five, no doubt. Their offense was bad, scoring just over 24 points a game on average, and their defense was terrible, uh, giving up over 30 points a game on average. And uh, but Purdue always recruits near the bottom of the Big Ten conference, and uh, they never load up in the transfer portal either. So they never have very many good players. So whenever they win 8 games, it's always a surprise. And taking a look at this schedule, I don't see really any chance of them getting to 6 wins for a bowl game. They probably won't even be able to get close. It would take really good coaching for Purdue to get to a bowl game, which they do not have. Like, for example, Chris Kleeman, if you don't know who that is, he's the head coach at Kansas State, and he's not the best recruiter, and it's hard to recruit at Kansas State anyway. But he's really good at developing his players, and he's good at coming up with good game plans. Uh, which is why he's been able to win 19 games combined in a conference championship these past 2 seasons at Kansas State. And I know that Kansas State is a better football program than Purdue is, but he's still doing it with just a bunch of 3-star players, and it can be done even at a place like Purdue. Uh, but on this schedule, I only see one given win for Purdue, the opener against Indiana State. That should be a pretty easy win against an FCS opponent. And then after that, they could lose every other game and go 1-11. This schedule does not set up well at all for them. So they take their first week off before Notre Dame, who they always lose to whenever they play. So that's not good. And then also in the non-conference, they have a road game against Oregon State, which is going to be tough. Oregon State is not going to be as good as they were these last couple of years, but uh, they're still going to be able to give Purdue a hard time. So that's bad with the non-conference schedule to opponents like that. Um, and uh, it's also bad that they get several games at home against Notre Dame, Oregon, and Penn State that they have no chance of winning anyway. But then they have so many road games that they would have a chance to win. Uh, well, and they still do, but it would have been a better chance if they could have got them at home against Oregon State and Illinois. Michigan State and Indiana, and it's bad that they have those 2 road games in a row there against Wisconsin and Illinois, and then they have to play 2 road games in a row again to end the season against Michigan State and Indiana. and so Nebraska, uh, that is one that they could maybe win if Nebraska is terrible again. But just recently, I've been getting the feeling that Nebraska is going to have a much better year this year than they've had in a really long time. Uh, in Wisconsin, I think they're going to be a little too good for Purdue to be able to beat, no matter where it would be played. Uh, and mm, mm, uh, Northwestern, they get a week off before that one, and it is at home. That's one that maybe Purdue could get a win in, uh, because Northwestern, they're no more talented really than Purdue is, but uh, they have more production coming back than Purdue does, and uh, they were better last year uh, than Purdue. Uh, and then Ohio State, there's no chance that Purdue could win that one. It actually is a good thing for them that they do play that one on the road because it wouldn't have mattered. They're going to get blown out in that one no matter where it's played. I'll be surprised if Purdue scores more than 7 points in that game. So I think it's going to be hard for Purdue to even get 4 wins again this year. So now I'll move on to the point spread prediction. So games in the green are games where I think that Purdue will be favored by a blowout, which is 20 or more points, and there's one of those, Indiana State, and games in the gray are games where I think Purdue will be an underdog by about a field goal, which is 1 to 5 points, and there's 6 of those, half of their schedule. Oregon State, Nebraska, Illinois, Northwestern, Michigan State, and Indiana. Mm, and games in the uh, yellow are games where I think Purdue will be an underdog by about a touchdown, 6 to 9 points, and there's one of those at Wisconsin. And games in the orange are games where I think they'll be an underdog by double digits, 10 to 19 points. And there's two of those, Notre Dame and Penn State. And games in the red are games where I think they'll be an underdog by a blowout, which that is 20 or more points. And there's two of those, Oregon and Ohio State. So Indiana State, Purdue should be favored in that one by around 3 touchdowns. And Oregon State, Purdue would probably be the favorite at home, but on the road, I think they'll be about a 3 point underdog. And Nebraska, uh, I think Purdue, even at home, will be an underdog by about a point in that game, but that is a tough one. I could see it being a toss up, or maybe Purdue even being a little bit of a favorite if Nebraska doesn't turn out to be very good. And they have a game against the Clown Show of Colorado before this game, so that should have something to do with what the spread of this game is. Mm, and Illinois, that's just in the gray because it's a road game. Illinois will probably be favored by around a point, but Purdue, I'm pretty sure, would be the favorite if it was a home game. Because Illinois, I think they may actually be worse than Purdue with their roster this year. They're going to be bad, I think. Uh, and then Northwestern, the spread in that one will probably be around 5 points. And Michigan State in Indiana, I think uh, they'll be underdog uh, uh, in both of those by probably just like a point because they're road games. Uh, but I think Purdue would be the favorite at home. Those teams are not very good. either. Uh, and Wisconsin, I think they'll be around a 9-point favorite over Purdue. Mm, and Notre Dame and Penn State, the spread in both of those, I think, will be like 18 points probably. Uh, and Oregon, Purdue will probably be an underdog by like 25 points in that game. And Ohio State, the spread in that one will probably be like 4 touchdowns, like 28. So they're probably just going to be favored in that one game. Now, I think that they could probably win uh, another game or two of these that they'll be just a small underdog in. Uh, but I don't think they're really going to be any better this year as a team. So that will be it with this video. And please subscribe and thanks for watching. And I'll be back soon.